Take two.
Now I'm just going to raise this so as it's nearer the bass strings than the top string. Okay. Oh, you ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Hi, my name is Andy Babiuk, and I'm the author of the book Beatles Gear. It's a book that's a complete history of everything the Beatles ever played on stage and in the studio and how they made their great records. And I was very fortunate to work directly with the Beatles on it. So I get a lot of phone calls from people and email, and people are saying they have a Beatle instrument. 99% of the time, it isn't. Once in a blue moon, you actually get the real thing. I've had to authenticate the lost John Lennon Gibson J160E, George Harrison's 425 Rickenbacker, John Lennon's Orange Gretsch that was missing. So one day I'm sitting here at my shop, Fab Gear, and the phone rings, and it's Darren Julian from Julian's Auctions. And he tells me, Andy, I think we have a John Lennon guitar. And I said, wow, cool. So he sends me some photos, and sure enough, it is a Framus Hootenanny 12-string. So I automatically go and look up all the photos I have of the Beatles using this guitar, and the wood starts matching up, and it's starting to look pretty cool, like this could be really the guitar. So I called Darren back, and I said, Darren, this is really cool. So what he does is he says, look, you're gonna have to come out here to LA and actually take a look at the guitar and really scrutinize it and make sure it's the real thing. This is a guitar that's been missing since 1965. It's one of the missing Beatle guitars. It's one of the few remaining real Beatle guitars that aren't accounted for. I gotta see this thing. So we go out to LA and we go to Julian's Auctions, and they have the guitar there. I look at the guitar and I start studying it, and the method I use is studying the wood grain. I have pictures of George Harrison playing this guitar up close in the studio, and you could see the wood grain on the guitar, the original guitar, really well. I've got pictures of John Lennon on the set of Help playing this guitar. You could see side shots of the mahogany on the guitar, and you could really see the wood grain really, really well. Then there's a couple other features on this guitar that started to match. There's a pickguard on it. Now the method of manufacturing a pickguard, they're trying to simulate what tortoiseshell is. Now tortoiseshell is a method where they're basically melting plastic, and it's different colors, and it creates its own pattern. Okay, there's no two that are the same. Sure enough, the pickguard in the photos are matching identical to the pickguard on this guitar. When I physically have the guitar in my hands, I'm able to examine it, look at it, compare it against the pictures, and sure enough, this is 100% without a doubt the real guitar. So wow, I'm thinking I gotta play this thing, and boy, I had a blast playing it. I played every Beatles song that they used that guitar with, and to me, it was magical. Not only did they have this cool guitar, but they had the actual original case that it came with. Now, the unique thing about this is a Framus guitar, but the Beatles happened to put it in a Maton guitar case. Now, Maton is an Australian company. They make guitars, they still make guitars to this day. This case is actually with the guitar, but the cool thing is, I've got a ton of pictures of the Beatles in the studio with this guitar, and you see this Maton case. It's got this goldish cloth interior, and it has the Maton logo on it. This is the original case also. Without a doubt, this is 100% the guitar. This is John Lennon's Framus Hootenanny 12-string that's been missing since 1965. So this is a really important guitar because this is the guitar that John Lennon used to record Help. There's a lot of outtakes of them recording Help, and you could hear John actually tuning this 12-string guitar.
7.
So this is a really important guitar because it could actually be seen in the film Help. This is the actual guitar that John's using when they perform You Got to Hide Your Love Away. It's that really cool scene where they're in their supposed apartment and they're all playing, and and it's just so memorable. And this is the actual guitar. It's so cool.
Hey, you've got to hide your love away. Hey, you've got to hide your love away.
Another really interesting document is a set of handwritten notes by George Martin, their producer, done during the help sessions. And he has notes for You Got to Hide Your Love Away, and it shows John Lennon playing the 12-string acoustic, and then later an overdub on track 3 where George is playing the 12-string acoustic. So after they were done with Help, the guitar appears again in the studio when they're recording songs for Rubber Soul. There's these great pictures of George actually playing this actual 12-string guitar when they're doing the bed tracks for Norwegian Wood. So by the end of 1965, John Lennon gave this guitar to Gordon Weller of Peter and Gordon. Now, Peter and Gordon were really good friends with the Beatles because Lennon and McCartney wrote a lot of songs for Peter and Gordon, which actually were really big hits. One of their big hits that Lennon and McCartney wrote for Peter and Gordon was the song A World Without Love. It was a really cool song that Peter and Gordon actually performed on a TV show called The Music of Lennon and McCartney, which aired on December 16, 1965. The cool thing about it is, during their performance, Gordon Weller's actually playing the Framus Hootenanny that John Lennon gave him.
Lock me away and don't allow the day here inside where I hide with my loneliness. I don't care what they say, I won't stay in a world without love.
Gordon Weller has the guitar that John Lennon gave him, and he later ended up gifting it to Peter and Gordon's road manager. Once I actually authenticated the guitar, we know 100% it's the real thing. I tell Darren Julian this is the guitar. Darren ends up calling up Ringo because they're good friends. Ringo was very excited that the guitar was found. So Darren brought it over to his home and they were finally reunited. This cool old guitar that was part of Beatles history, and Ringo finally had it in his hands again. All in all, this is just a super cool guitar, and it's one of the few Beatle guitars that are still out there, and it's finally been found. It's so important. It's the sound that we hear on those great songs that we all love, and it's so great to know a piece of history has finally been found.